Peace. So, I want to make this video because I'm answering the questions, because I guess what's going on here is that I've been putting messages or putting my thoughts and shit on Facebook. Or excuse me, I've been putting it on the internet. And I really haven't done that in regards to the stuff that happened when I first started getting these messages, because it was just hella weird. Some of it's embarrassing, some of it's kind of scary, some of it's a little freaky and shit, so I just didn't really want to put it out there, but I guess it needs to be said for everybody to have clarification what's going on, because I guess now they're kind of paying attention to me on another level. And I guess that was the purpose of my ancestors doing it the way they did it. Because for some reason, I think that some of these celebrities that are getting messages from me, and they're sending me messages via the music or even just Facebook posts or whatever, they're kind of catching the vibe or whatever. And so at first I really wasn't understanding exactly what the fuck was going on, because I was like, are these people reading my mind, or are they tapping into my phone, watching what I'm doing, or are they listening on my phone? They got my phone tapped, or what the fuck going on? How the fuck they know what's going on with me? Or is it just coincidence? Multiple people's going through the same kind of shit. That's what I was at first thinking. And so I really didn't say anything because I didn't want to seem or appear like I'm crazy, because I'm sitting up here talking back to people that may or not be talking to me. And then on top of that, motherfuckers like to play that shit. That's why I say I really like fucking with black people, because they like to play that shit the most. They like to gaslight your ass, and they know what the fuck going on, and they're gonna sit back and act like they don't know what the fuck going on to try to make it look like your ass is crazy when they know exactly what the fuck going on. Look at all these burnt rubber out on the ground. But like I said, that's why I'm really communicating with black people, because it's they'll do something and they know that your ass is saying something about something that they did, and because they feel like nobody else knows about it, they're gonna sit and gaslight you or lie about it because they feel like they haven't been caught, which shows a lack of character. And it doesn't matter if you're the first people on the planet. It doesn't matter if your ass think you went through slavery. It don't matter if your ass is poor or not. You're supposed to have a good character and say what the fuck is really going on, versus just playing games for whatever reason. Whether you scared and you scared of these spirits, you think they're gonna fuck you up because somebody telling you don't fucking tell the truth to tell a lie, or be in a code, act like everything's in code and shit like that. When you motherfuckers is by yourself in your little secret society that you done join, if that's your situation, because I ain't saying everybody's in that. But that's what it be. You been at secret society shit, doing this shit. So literally, you motherfuckers is fucking with people. You know what I mean? This place looks familiar. So anyways, so basically, I'm putting this out here because I know that a lot of the information that I'm getting is coming from people who are not alive. So therefore, or people think they're not alive. So therefore, these people can't be punished for telling me the truth. And I damn sure can't be punished for telling the truth, because I'm not in no fucking club. So I can say what I want to say. And if it happens to be the truth, then that just shows that these people that you think is controlling everything really are not. They're just tapping into the same source that you are and hearing the story and changing it to make it fit their agenda, when the agenda really ain't what the fuck they're trying to portray it as being. So let's get back to Tupac, because me and Tupac had a conversation when this happened. So the first celebrity that really, really jumped in my body or I could tell he was controlling me versus me just hearing my name in the music and shit. Because first it was like Kanye and Kid Cudi, you know, like I heard the music and I had like an emotional response, but I didn't really necessarily feel like they were talking to me at that particular moment, because it's like, who am I? I'm not important enough for these people to be talking to me, and I don't want to, you know, be out here going crazy like some crackhead or something, talking about these motherfuckers, you know, like being paranoid or whatever. And then Tupac, I went to the weed store and I was buying weed, right? Because there was a certain weed store around my apartment where I lived in Seattle, where I would go and buy these little $5 gram joints. And I just remember like the people in the weed store kind of talking to me telepathically. And then the man in the weed store kept on calling me my dear. And then one dude was like, "You smoking on Tupac's ashes." You know, I don't believe Tupac did, so I'm like, how am I smoking on his ashes? But they said something like that. They had gave me whatever weed they gave me. They had made sure that it had his ashes in it. And so something started happening. This was like almost 2 years ago. And I was listening to that song, "Time Goes By, Puffing on Light, Hoping that it'll get me high. Got a nigga going crazy. I feel crazy." And then he was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it was like, "I see Bloods and Crips running up the hill, searching for another way." And then it was like, he was like coaching me. It was like the way the music was. It was like he was having me repeat it. And the way he was saying it was making me repeat it easier. And then after that, I started acting crazy, right? And then I came down to California. This is before I got put out. I just got a ticket to California because I was like, I feel like God want me to go to California. And I came down here, and somehow the credit cards that I had, they got like overcharged because like the car rental place that I had, because it was like maybe 2-3 weeks after I came back from Arkansas. And I had rented a car in Arkansas. They charged me double for the car, and that fucking took money off my card. And then I went to a hotel when I first got into California, and I think it was the Westin or some shit. And they took a deposit out. And then when I came back to pay for the second night, they were like, "Oh, we don't have no rooms available." But there was still a deposit taken. And so I didn't have no money. So I was like homeless in LA on vacation, walking around with my suitcases. And I was having these spiritual experiences. It was kind of like what's going on now, but it was weirder because I didn't understand what's going on. I had never experienced it before. Good morning. And so that was the first person. And so at one point we were having a conversation. I was just talking because I would be talking to like Tupac. Because I started acting like him, like real tough. And especially when I got mad. It was like every time I got mad at somebody, and it was like Tupac jump his ass out and start doing shit. And I realized it was him. It took me a long time to realize, like, really is me looking back on it now to realize that was Tupac ass. And seeing videos of shit. So we talked about it, and he was saying, like, you know, basically I realized he was controlling shit and controlling people around me and controlling me. So I was like, well, you know, and this is kind of after I realized other people were doing it too. And then I realized they were saying my name. I realized they've been talking to me for a long time. Then I started listening to old music that was made before I was born, and they were talking to me too. And that's when they were like, "You're a time traveler, da 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 da." And some people knew exactly when you were going to be born, and some people knew different names you were going to use. So everybody kind of knew a different time frame of when the shit was going down. So I remember saying, well, if we're in some kind of war with motherfuckers that then took over our shit, why the fuck are we still in hiding? Because we controlling this shit. They can't really control us. You feel me? We're actually controlling this. It's just that they are giving us the ideals of how to be and how to live and how to have, you know, what kind of character to operate with. That's why I say, we're supposed to be followers of Noble Drew Ali. It's like the outlaw said, I got more bodies than Drew. They talking about the fact that Tupac studied Noble Drew Ali. And then, of course, Noble Drew Ali came to me too. There's a lot of people that came to me I just don't talk about, so I'm going to talk about it in the next video. But I just remember us coming to that conclusion, like, soon as we expose that we are controlling this, then everything will change, right? Because right now, what's going on is that so many people are faking the funk and going along with people that's really not controlling this shit. And they're giving them the power because they want the money, because they believe this money is real. And I know this money's not real, and I know the rest of the world is about to basically go to war with America behind what's been done behind this fiat. How many people didn't die? How many motherfuckers joined the military just to fucking feed their family? So they're literally joining the military to go kill other people for a dollar bill, when we have trees and food that could grow right in the fucking neighborhoods that people could eat. People could have gardens. You don't have to kill somebody to fucking live. Because if you have to, pay $1,000 for rent and you own the fucking land, why the fuck is you paying $1,000? Like, everybody could stop paying the fucking mortgage at the same time. And any landlord that try to put somebody out, we could kill their ass. Because it really needs to come to that. And nobody really want to go there. Because a lot of people are trying to become these folks. They're trying to become landowners. Buying land with stolen money. Buying stolen land with stolen money. Damn, that shit's out. You know what I'm saying? Everything should be free, because the motherfuckers who's charging motherfuckers don't even own this shit. They don't own the shit they charging you for. They just stole it, and then they're charging you. So now you're paying to live on your own land, when there was a time that you could just build a shelter, a house, and have some farmland and fucking live off of that like God intended you to. Like the people in the Amazon, like the most indigenous people who have not been tampered with. That's how they live. If they have any issues, it's natural issues that come from God. It's not because they didn't pay their rent and somebody put them out. Because that's what democracy is about. Democracy. Good morning. A democracy is about taking over the natural resources of a land, having people trade you their land for a car or something that they created to make it seem like it's worth more than your land. Then they get the people out of the Amazon, and now they can't fucking eat because they didn't fucking cut the trees down. And it's all because somebody wanted a new boat, or somebody wanted a new car, and now instead of having to get a new car and boat, now they have to fucking buy a house because the land they was living on is now no trees there. So nobody can go under the trees and dig in the fucking ground and get the potatoes and roots and yams and shit in the foliage to cook. You see what I'm saying? That's what democracy is. And everybody in America wants to be in democracy when they know goddamn well this is a republic. So everybody's doing the wrong thing, and they're doing it based on who they think is in power. You see what I'm saying? They're doing it because they believe these people are in power, and they want to help keep these people in power because these people have, quote unquote, blessed them, even though they're trying to claim that all their blessings came from God. Well, God don't bless people like that. If you get a blessing from God, God lets you go somewhere and have peace in your heart and be able to eat off the land and not have to worry about desiring something that you can't technically afford, because basically you're selling your soul for these things. That's what's happening. You're selling your soul. Oh, look at that house. It's beautiful. You're selling your soul for the things that you got. And then on top of that, like I've been saying, other people are suffering. And that's what Tupac's been saying this whole time. Tupac was 25 when he died. I'm 43. Tupac started being a celebrity when he was in his teens or whatever. I ain't never been no fucking celebrity, so I've been out here living in the rough with everybody else. A lot of people who are celebrities right now became famous when they were in their 20s and 30s. So they didn't have the typical struggle that an average 40-year-old would have of 20 years of working trying to make shit work. They had a different struggle, but it's not the struggle that everybody else is in. So their perception of reality is fucked up, and they don't really get it until somebody in their family start complaining. And then they don't want to help that person because they're like, if I have to help one person, I have to help them all. But if everybody put the fucking money together to start a militia to where when these landlords start putting people out, ooh, look at these palm trees. These motherfuckers is nice. These are the nice palm trees. Look at this palm tree. You can tell somebody paid to get it here because this palm tree is not indigenous here. These palm trees are only here because people like the way they look. And these are special ones. I can tell they don't look like the other ones, but they're not indigenous to this land. So the actual trees that was here on this land, here in California, they cut them down so they can make a good background for these houses. And this is what's going on with everybody who are the natural resources of the land, which are the people. People are the natural resources of the land. And we are getting dogged out and used. And other people are assisting. As they don't see nothing wrong with it. Or they do and they just don't feel like there's a way to resolve it. Because they don't want to give up what they got. And that's why I keep on saying they got to give up their money. And they don't want to give it up because they want to act like they feel like they work hard for it. Or if they didn't work as hard as they know their mama worked. You know, a lot of people are single mothers who work 12 fucking jobs and fucking 14 and 16-hour days and then still have to come back and take care of their children. And they never got paid fucking $1 million for that shit. So how hard are you really working for your fucking $1 million deals? Because you went in the studio and got high and made a song? Think about that. How hard are you really working compared to how hard everybody else in the world is working, or it's just in America? Because the people around the world, they're literally working for fucking what we would consider $1 an hour to make an iPhone. They're not making no money. They're not benefiting. It's called capitalism. So that was kind of what I talked to Tupac about. It's like, we can end this shit for the real people who are real revolutionaries, the real outlaws, the real people who really want change. We could change this shit. And the enemy right now is the motherfuckers who don't want to do it. Which right now, there's a lot of so-called black people who've been given money so they could be the little token house niggas to fucking fight for the fucking system that's keeping everybody in slavery. So that I wanted to get that out first above all other things, because I know people keep on wondering, why does she keep on saying that people got to give up their money? She's just jealous, or she's just hating. Why would you hate on somebody for what they got? Why the fuck would you want to fucking wear a fucking outfit that somebody 5-year-old died to make it? Why would you want to wear a fucking diamond that somebody damn 10-year-old had to climb in a cave to go get, and they ain't even get paid 50 cents for the motherfucker, and you paid another motherfucker $20,000 for it? Because it don't take that much shit to make no goddamn jewelry. So all these people who are jurists or whatever, they sell jewelry, they're just fucking making money off of niggas. Because they know niggas is gonna buy the shit. Because white people really ain't buying all the jewelry and shit. And like I said, the fucking materials that they're using to make the jewelry is coming out of our own fucking land. Whether it's our land over here or our land over in Africa, which is our cousins or whatever. Every fucking building out here is made with a tree. All these trees belongs on this land. They're getting cut down, so we don't have no oxygen. We don't have no clean air because they're cutting all the fucking trees down and build up new fucking buildings while there's empty buildings nobody's living in. And you got all these foreign people coming over here living on this land, and they're talking shit. Like their fucking country ain't going through it. Like they're not over here living on somebody else's fucking land, helping the fucking person, helping the same shit I'm talking about. They're helping the same fuck shit. It's all a cycle, and nobody wants to fucking admit it's wrong. And the people who have money want to sit and congratulate each other instead of admitting you're helping to keep the whole world down, because the dollar bill is the fucking currency that's fucking the world up. You may not be the richest motherfucker out here, because like I said, real rich people don't use money. They don't knit it, meaning they can go get something for free like you're supposed to get it for free. They just turn around and charge your fucking asses because they know you're going to give your life. Because every fucking hour you work is a minute of your life. 60 minutes of your fucking life gone. So the money for an hour, $15 an hour, that's your fucking life. So you charge somebody fucking $40 for a shirt and they make it $15 an hour. Somebody just gave you 4 hours of their life. Maybe less than that, because you got to pay taxes and all kind of other shit that's illegal according to the Constitution. But everybody's still going along with it. You understand? It's people's lives at stake, and everybody's just seeing it like it ain't shit. So, they wanted me to put this video out here to clarify, because a lot of motherfuckers don't understand it. They don't even want to go try to figure it out because they're too busy having a good time. They're too busy enjoying their riches that they work so fucking hard for. Like our ancestors didn't work hard because we got machines. Like our parents say, I had to walk to school. It's 15 miles. Most of you motherfuckers is driving, and you ain't even driving no raggedy car. You driving a good car, or somebody's motherfucking chauffeuring your ass. You feel me? The shit we're going through ain't that fucking hard. It ain't as serious. There's more, just people are dying. You know, people are dying because of this society and what they desire, because they desire the money. And they're willing to lie, cheat, steal to get it. And they're willing to sell their own mama. And then when they do get it, and they know their whole race has been through all this shit, they don't want to give it to their race. Because like I said, they want to go date outside their race and get somebody outside of the race talking about, oh, you can't pick who you love. Yeah, you can. Because you could say, I don't even want to date these motherfuckers because it's not my race. So when I incarnate, I'm going to come back looking like something else. And my ancestor, my great-great-great-grandpa, can't come into the body of my grandchildren. He can't come into that body because they don't have the DNA. They don't have enough of the DNA, of his DNA, for him to be able to reincarnate into it. And people think it's all about choice and shit until, you know, your ass then reincarnated, and now your ass don't have no fucking DNA to do what you want to do. Because this is a war. It's a war that's went on for centuries. So you're reincarnating into the fucking enemy. That's why Noble Drew Ali said we have the blood of many nations in our body, because we're at war with many fucking nations. We're at war with many nations because we didn't mix in and interbred with them, and we didn't let them take a superior position over the actual race that started this world. And everybody want to try to act like these people ain't fucking trying to kill your ass, because you don't realize it's a genetic war. It's genetic warfare. So, I think that's pretty much, you know, the gist of this video. I'm going to leave it at that. I think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to put into it. Because like I said, right now everybody's being tricked, and they don't realize they're being tricked. Because this shit is genetic. So even though you see this woman and you're thinking, oh, she's beautiful and she seems nice and she's not a bitch like those black women, because the black women are so bitter because everything's happening to them. They're being abused and mistreated, like they've been said. The black woman is the most non-protected women in America. So if you want to get with a black woman and you know your ass is a fucking damaged black man, you're going to have to get with a damaged black woman and fucking heal each other. And motherfuckers don't want to do that. They'd rather say, fuck that bitch. I don't like my mama. I'm going to go fuck with another race of a bitch. And she's sitting back laughing because men somehow think that their children are them. Your children are not you. Your children are the fucking woman. Because the egg that come out of her, it was in her mama. Because you're born with a set of eggs. That means you are already born in your mama's womb when she come out of her mama. Men and women. Women make men and they make women. So your body, the actual flesh on your body, comes from that egg. And the sperm fertilizes it. You understand? So when it comes to DNA and what your actual physical makeup are, you are your fucking mother. And like I said, I'm not speaking against people, because it ain't about racism. It's just about preserving genetic integrity. So there's a lot of people around here who have European mothers and black fathers, and they feel like they're black, and they know goddamn well they're not, because they really have the spirit of a white lady in them. And the spirit of her father, which is a white man, is battling with the spirit of the brother, which is their father. And he thinking if he can get his children in a position of power and give them all the money, that him and his bloodline will be in power. But he doesn't realize that's not really your bloodline, because you didn't marry within your race. You didn't make children within your race. because generations later, you don't know what kind of spells her fucking grandfather or her mother then put into the DNA. So 5 generations later, they might not even fucking want to be with no black people. Because it's happened. They might not even want to be with no black motherfuckers. So basically, by the time 5 generations come, your black ass done been washed out, but it was your family, because you are your family. It was your family's blood, sweat, and tears, and their land and their inheritance that this child is getting. And then everything turns white. Everything that started in this world becomes from a white person, because that's all you see is somebody white as a part of that bloodline. And the last name becomes white, and now all of a sudden everybody think the last name Washington is a slave master's name, and it really is a black man's name. But because they intermarried, and they kept on intermarrying with white European and visitors that came over, so now it's a whole fucking takeover of the land. And you got all these white people here in America talking about they're American, and they're not, because the only way to be American is to be an American Indian. The only way to be a true American Indian is to be a Negro, because those are who the fucking Indians are. And this is not up for discussion. This is a fact, and it's been documented in the history books. And every black person knows that their fucking grandma is an Indian. So this shit is serious. And that's why I talk about it the way I talk about it. Because my dad went and got him a melanated sister. That's how I turned out like this. And most of you niggas that's running around here with black with nappy ass hair or whatever the fuck you got going on with you, that's the same thing that your mom and dad did. And you don't even have enough respect to continue that legacy. Because you wouldn't be where you are if it wasn't for your ancestors. Meaning they put in the work in the genetic bloodline for you to be successful. And that's the only reason why you're successful right now, because you took a dick in your ass and you got favoritism for that. Which that's fucking your gene up. Because dick in the asses is really not the way to go. Because that's why people end up with colostomy bags. That's why people end up with loose booty holes and can't even hold their shit in. Because they're out here doing sodomite shit. And that's not natural for the human body. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter how you love. It doesn't matter all that shit. Your body is not really physically set up to do that shit. And it fucks your body up. And this is what we're come to in this just world that we're living in, at least the United States. People want to do just whatever feels good, and somebody else is promoting that shit. Well, when are you going to promote for the motherfucker whose land this is to get their goddamn land back? Or you just going to hope you get enough money to buy enough for you and your family to benefit like everybody else? Fuck them. That's why it's going to be a war, and the war's going to be amongst the black people. Because it's the black people with money that's basically against the black people with no money. Because I'm in the hood right now. And somewhere in Beverly Hills, there's 2 or 3 black people living amongst motherfucking 50 white people, and they feel like they done made it. And they started buying shit and giving rent and paying mortgage and buying houses from motherfuckers that then stole from somebody. Why the fuck should somebody have to buy a house and it's sitting on stolen land? I should be able to go in that fucking house and say, I want to live in this house. Why should I have to pay an electricity bill when somebody already built the company up, built the electricity boxes, the switches and the shit? Electricity come from God. Can't nobody make electricity. You have to harvest it or harness it. Can't nobody make water. You have to harness it, meaning you have to go and create a dam and then create a water system to be able to distribute it to these homes. So once it's built, it shouldn't have to be paid for. The minimum should be able to pay to upkeep it, and that should be paid by the city. Because they motherfucking charging motherfuckers to live in these cities. So the city should be paying for everybody's fucking electricity and water. Half motherfuckers are starving because they paying an electricity company for something they didn't fucking create. Because they already paid the motherfucker who built it, right? They paid them per hour. They already paid somebody for the actual material. Because if they didn't pay somebody for you, you wouldn't have it. They wouldn't be able to take it. So right now, we're living in a society where everything is fucked up, and the people who can help, they're not interested in helping. Because they want to be so egotistical about them creating a winning situation for themselves. When that's not the case. Because it's supposed to be like a Trojan horse. It's supposed to be like the spook who sat by the door. And it seemed like these spooks who sat by the door, they got so comfortable by sitting by this door, they don't want to let nobody in because they don't want to take the risk of losing what they got. Well, you can't be in the fucking spiritual military if you're not willing to die to free everybody else. Because you might actually be freeing your own fucking bloodline, because you don't know what the fuck you didn't set yourself up for, because you don't know what these motherfuckers know. And that's why I was talking about people being in these groups. You being in these fucking whatever Illuminati, fake Illuminati, because they ain't the real Illuminati, but and they want to use that name to fuck up people's minds about some shit they didn't create. You in this shit and you letting somebody run it that really don't run it, and you realizing now that there's actual spirits that are ancient that are running this. And now that they're showing their head, like myself, you don't want to give me my respect because you feel like I don't have no money. You think if I get some money, that shows, because somebody said, oh, they won't talk to you unless you got money. Well, motherfucker, why do I need to have for fucking money? What do I need money for? If this is my shit, why do I need money? If I own it, if my people own it, my people been owning this shit for 400-500 years, why the fuck do I need money to live on my own fucking land and I gotta pay somebody who's not from here? Because they done tricked everybody in the mind. That's what it is. It's a mental trick. Yeah, they done tricked everybody to believe in this is their shit. And a lot of people don't want to do the work because they don't want to suffer. They don't want to go be like me, sitting up here fucking walk around here broke when I got fucking Social Security payments that's supposed to be sent to me. You know how many people said, why do you want to get Social Security? You need to just go work. Because I fucking paid for the insurance, and everybody who's supposed to get insurance, fucking Social Security is supposed to get it. That's what the fucking act was set up for. So why are you so set on letting these motherfuckers fuck everybody up and you not saying nothing about it? Why is it so easy for somebody to say, let go what is owed to you and just go spend hours of your life because it's slavery, because you're spending hours, like I said, $15 an hour, that's an hour in your life. And of that $15 an hour, you can't even go get a fucking plate of food at motherfucking typical goddamn restaurant. It costs $15. So that's 1 hour of your life that you're paying to eat a plate of food. What if you have a fucking family of 8 to feed? Your ass is gonna go broke and you're gonna die young. Unless you go find somebody to fuck, or let them fuck you, or you find somebody to rob, steal from, or cheat motherfuckers out of what they got. And people don't want to realize, they don't want to recognize that, because it's easier to ignore the problem and act like it's something that is not. It's easier to sit up and fucking make fun of another person of your own race that don't have something, instead of just saying, this is a problem, we need to solve it. Instead of going out, flossing. That's why I'm against all that name brand shit, especially depending on who owns that name brand. Because for one, they got spells on that shit. So every time you wear it, your motherfucking ass is thinking what they thinking. And two, you're giving money to somebody who's already got money, and that person is putting that money into your fucking people's slavery. So basically what I'm saying, if you're a white person that is married into some black people shit, you need to respect that shit. Don't be trying to take that shit and make it to where that's your shit now because you didn't got a boyfriend or a girlfriend as another race. All of a sudden that makes it, oh, we're together now, and we're not. We're not together. Because we don't know what the fuck DNA you have in your ass that's causing your ass to motherfucking want to date outside your race. Because it's, like I said, it's a Trojan horse on their end too. Yeah, it's a Trojan horse because they're going to get in your face and smile and act like you cool. That's why they're assigning all these women to these brothers. All these brothers in the hood fucking a black bitch. Because the bitches they fuck with now, they won't even go to the hood. These little foreigners that's supposed to be so beautiful and so exotic looking, these bitches ain't going to go live in the hood. They're going to be scared if they go visit your fucking auntie or somebody that live in the hood. And you wasn't dating them when you were before your motherfucking ass got some money. So you sold your soul, because that's your soul. Your people are your soul. That's why they call us soul people. The soul man, soul food. Because we are the people with the souls, and these people are stealing souls because they really don't have one. Because if they did, they'd be with their own people. And like I said, I'm not talking about every white person or anything like that. I'm just keeping it 100. Because there's white people who feel the same way. That's why I don't really feel bad. The people who they be talking about, they want to keep the right race pure. That's what they're talking about. They want their fucking ancestors to be able to jump in their body. Because their ancestors ain't going to be able to jump in their body either if they all mixed up. So who the fuck is jumping into these bodies with all these mixed motherfuckers? It ain't the fucking ancestor that was on the planet 2, 3, 400 years, or even 2,000 years ago, or even 100,000 years ago. Who is in these motherfuckers? Y'all don't fucking know. And you're doing what you want. You're not doing what you're told. Because at the end of the day, motherfuckers had arranged marriages. And that's what I've been talking about with Scott. This shit is an arranged marriage. I don't really want him like that because he's my type, or that would have been my first choice if I would have just, if I got to be a millionaire like him and famous. He wouldn't be my first choice of a nigga that I want. If I was to get $1 million right now, and one of these niggas out here that got money was to say, okay, I want to date her because she got some money, because they don't never want to date nobody who ain't got no money unless it's a white girl or something like that. That's the only bitch that they want to give money to. Or some whore slut that'll fuck everybody for the money. Fuck all their friends and shit. They'll fucking date one of them bitches and buy them bitches cars and houses and everything. And then they'll have babies with them, and then their little babies will be sluts. And they'll have a whole generation of rich sluts. But I'm just saying, this is about honor. This is about tribe. This is about preservation of bloodlines and preservation of souls that have been on the planet, and they want to be able to fully activate themselves, and they can't do it. All they can do is do it from at the bottom of the sea, because that's where the fuck their soul been put when somebody else then stole their fucking bloodline by tricking one of their family members to doing some shit they don't have no business doing, because they feel like they own their body. And you don't own your fucking body. Your ancestors own your body. That's why they have arranged marriages, to make sure that the fucking great-great-grandparents be able to come back into the body and have their time to reincarnate on this planet and have a good time too. And they can't do it if you switch it up and do what the fuck you want to do. Now somebody else's goddamn family bloodline is going to be enjoying your shit. They're going to be enjoying all the riches that your fucking family put together, or enjoying all the information or the talent, because your talent comes from your bloodline. Because 9 times out of 10, if your ass can sing, that means you had a grandparent or somebody that can sing. And that grandparent is jumping in your body, giving you that ability to sing. It's blessing you. You think it's God, and really it's your ancestor blessing you. You understand? You can dance real good. You can play basketball real good. And I don't really consider, like I already told y'all, I don't consider like Mexican. I don't consider that dating out your race, because really it's not, depending on, what their actual race is. Fuck with the nationality. I don't really consider that, because we all on this continent together. We're all Americans. You feel me? I'm talking about going all overseas and shit. Dating motherfuckers you don't know nothing about. People who have fucking ancestors that have been fucking each other for centuries. And all of a sudden this motherfucker want to come fuck you and have a baby with your ass. Why? Because the story about Pocahontas is, chief, because the land goes to the women. For all you men that think everybody, the land's supposed to go to the men. It's not. It goes to the women, because the women have the children, and the children always need somewhere to live. And you're one of the children. That means you always have a place to live with your mama. That's how it's supposed to go. So no, the land will never be taken over. And if you have a woman, you're supposed to go live with her in her tribe. You feel me? So Pocahontas' daddy, Chief Powhatan, decided to try to take shit over, because obviously he was the chief, but the real bloodline that made him royal was his wife, which is Pocahontas' mama, or whatever her real name was. That was where the real royalty is. The same with Haile Selassie. The real royalty is in the woman, because the woman is who's going to create the child, and the child is going to be who's the one that makes the actual bloodline. You understand? Because that egg is that child, and you are your mama. That's why the Jewish people say if you're Jewish, if your mama Jewish, because they know it's common fucking sense. So Chief Powhatan sold his fucking daughter to fucking John Smith. And John Smith basically just terrorized her, let her be a pet to the fucking British people, had children with her, and then killed her off. And now, right now, there ain't nothing but a bunch of European people talking about their ass as Indian, when they like 90% European and 1% Indian. So that give them the right to take over the land, because Chief Powhatan ass decided to give the land to somebody else outside of his race, because he gave his daughter to somebody outside of his race. And that person didn't say, oh, I'm dating outside of my race. I'm taking a woman of somebody else's race, and I'm going to turn around and dedicate my life to this woman and her race since I decided to put my seed in her. But I still want my children to go and be with their mama's race because I want to be able to continue the bloodline. I'm just happy to be here. You understand? That's how it's supposed to go. But that's not how it goes. And that's how whole continents are taken over, because it gets taken over by the woman. All war is about pussy. And it ain't about pussy because of having sex and whether pussy is good or not. It's about pussy because pussy is the one who brings in the world. They bring people into the world. So the woman is God. So when you take over a man's woman, you take him over. And a lot of these black men don't understand. You trying to conquer or get into the bloodline of people who are thieves. They have stolen everything they got. So you really get into a new bloodline that's really not the real owners. And you're not realizing that there's going to come a time when the real owners come and take their shit back. Because that's the story of Isabel and Ferdinand. That's the story of them. Because their grandparents are Moors, meaning their grandparents is black and they mix. And they decided to get rid of all the dark people in the area. Yeah, that's the whole story. And they decided to conquer everybody dark. Because they fucking came out of mixed women or European women or whatever the fuck the hell it is. It ain't the actual woman who was the queen or the empress of that land. Like Queen Ty, all these people, they're black women. So how all of a sudden you see Queen Elizabeth, this bitch is white? Because it's the same story. Somebody intermarried. And 9 times out of 10, it was the man who married into another woman's bloodline. And instead of saying, okay, I realize I forfeited my inheritance by not marrying into the royal bloodline of my mother, he just want to take the bloodline from his mom and his sisters or whoever else is supposed to continue that bloodline because they have that DNA and give it to a whole nother race. And then eventually over the centuries, motherfuckers start wanting to wipe that race out because they will say they're black. Like Nick Cannon talking about his kids is black and shit. In reality, Mariah Carey more black than Nick Cannon because she got her ass a black man. She mixed. Her mama white. So she basically a white woman and she still went and got a black woman so her babies will come out with melanin. But we know she's mixed. But Nick Cannon is running around here steady dating the same type of women. So he's giving his DNA to something outside of his mama. You understand? Because his daughter, and I'm just saying, using him as an example, his daughter is half, she got 2 exes. One ex comes from his mama, and one ex comes from her, the mom's mom. So Mariah Carey's mom's is European. So that baby is primarily European with another ex, which is a black woman, which is Nick Cannon's mom. Because you give that up, or that's how the shit works. So that little girl, it would be in her best interest to go get her a brother to keep on putting herself back into the DNA. And hopefully that little girl has a boy. You see, she could have a son. So Nick Cannon's daughter could have a son. And then his son need to go date him a black woman. Then it'll be fully tied back into the black race. But it has to come through a black woman. That's why all them Chinese people is over in fucking Africa fucking them black women making babies. Think about it. Black men fuck white women. But other races, they come and fuck black women. You see what it is? Because they realize the land and everything ancient and fucking royal comes through the black woman. And the black man is giving that up. Because ultimately, a race cannot be conquered until the man doesn't give a fuck about his woman no more. You understand what I'm talking about? So basically, it's like a war between the black women and the white women. And it's going on through the man. And he's sitting up there thinking with his dick. And thinking with his reprobate mind. Or thinking with the mind of a slave who wants to try to conquer something for an ego trip. Not thinking it's bigger than that. That's why I tell with Scott fucking ass. He ain't my fucking type. But he a little ass nigga with a little shrunken in chest. And a little skinny ass Kermit the Frog legs. And probably got a little pencil dick. But he the same look of my grandpa, my dad's dad. They had the same body shape, which is a Native American body. Because his ass is Native American. And that's the same bloodline I come out of. He got Mexican grandparents. I got Mexican grandparents. It's something about that bloodline that whoever ancestor want to jump through, they want that bloodline. And he thinking about what the fuck all the different women he's had access to, when he doesn't realize that these women are prostitutes for their race. Because the real royal and noble women of their race is not going to take out their fucking race. Because they understand, in order for that royal family to reincarnate, they're going to need the same fucking DNA that was in that fucking bloodline 400 or 500 years ago. And if they fuck it up, it may not have the same person reincarnate, and somebody be able to figure out that the spirit that's in their family is really not the spirit of the royal bloodline, it's the spirit of another bloodline. I guess that's what I want to say. I guess that's what Tupac want to say. And that's what need to be said to a lot of people, because it's really that simple. So these niggas is out here dating women that's outside of their race, and they feel like, oh, we can do what we want. We can have sex with whatever we want. We can have sex with a dog, a fucking cat, a fucking, anything that is just for sexual fucking gratification. It's not for the preservation of our race, and not thinking that's just going to be connected to your DNA, and it might fucking come out in one of your grandkids, and they might have some kind of sick fetish, and you don't know what the world is going to be like in the next 150 years. So that sick fetish might be what the fuck caused their ass to die, because you didn't fucking implanted that shit in them. That's why the bloodline of Jesus is pure. The bloodline of Christ is pure. They're not going to do that fuck reprobated shit. You understand? They're not going to be out here doing all kind of weird ass shit. Because that's what makes you the bloodline of Christ, because your ass is pure, and you're not going to fucking lean to your own desires, because you understand somehow, some way your ancestors didn't let you know, if you do that shit, if I incarnate into one of your fucking grandkids, I might end up doing that shit, and I ain't about that shit. And so they're going to say, fuck it, I don't want to come back. And that's where Jesus is. And I told y'all that Jesus wants Scott for his DNA. I don't know if he necessarily want him for his mental capacity. So I guess they're hoping that he gets the message fully and understand how serious this is, if he really want to sit on this planet and enjoy his fucking riches like he think he want to, and enjoy his status, because he about to get robbed. Because he infatuated with motherfuckers that ain't of his race, because he think that they're his friends. Look at motherfucking Dr. Dre. He went and got his ass a white girl, and that bitch tried to take all his goddamn money. Black woman can't even get no fucking child support off of her baby daddy, and this bitch wanted $300,000 a month. What the fuck that make her? She felt like she married in to take over this nigga's whole fucking bloodline, because he got them fucking skills and ability from his mama and his daddy and his grandparents. He didn't get them skills and ability from her fucking ass. You understand? So these people want to come in and take everything you niggas got, and you don't want to see it the right way, because you didn't intermix with them to the point where your fucking ass can't see the forest for the trees. And you think everybody being prejudiced, and you want to be so fucking, what you call that, liberal, or be so open, that you're just willing to do anything. You don't realize you're willing to fuck up your ancestors, because some of you got ancestors in you. That's why you ass be depressed and shit after you do some fucking shit that somebody told you it's okay to do it. And then afterwards you start feeling bad about it, or something go wrong in your life because your ancestor just watched you fuck a dog. Your ancestors was in your body when you did that, so they had to do it too. And they are fucking disgusted with you. And you thinking, oh, this is my life. I'm just living my life. Everything is about me, what I want to do. I love myself. I love who I think I am. I don't even know who the fuck I am. I don't even know the history of my fucking people, let alone to know the history of my fucking actual grandparents and shit, to know whether they be into some shit like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, my dad, Nab, because this was told to me. I don't know if it's true, but I think it is. He wasn't into homosexuality. He was totally against it for the reasons I'm saying. Because he don't want to incarnate into no nigga. He don't want to incarnate into the fucking body of a nigga that's going to take some dick in his ass, because he don't want no dick in his ass. You understand? It's not about personal preference and shit like that. Your ancestors will not jump into you. And then you'll have the ancestors of the people who you allowed to control your mind jump into you. So now you have a bunch of soulless black people looking like black people running around here who have the fucking spirit of something else in them. And don't nobody understand why they act in the way they act. Because they got a spirit of something else. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably some kind of foreign alien in a galactic war. Because these motherfuckers is doing weird shit that ain't even damn near human. Because some of this shit shouldn't even be in the question. Some of this shit shouldn't even be in the question of whether it's right or wrong. Because we know all babies come out of women. But now they got artificial wombs. They taking wombs from real women. Saying they got fucking tumors and shit. You feel me? Saying they got fibroid tumors and they're giving them hysterectomy. And they're taking that uterus out of that woman, cleaning it out, and putting it into a fucking man that turned himself into a woman. Because I think that girl, that kid Cudi is dealing with, that Rocky bitch, that bitch is a man. She got a man jawline. She got a man body shape. And they do that overseas. They got a lot of people who do sex changes. You won't even fucking know. Because they just really started acknowledging that's what they're doing here in so-called America. So that's why she wanted him sit on her lap, because she a real man. Because like I said, when I seen her, I said, this bitch got a man spirit in her. Because black women ain't into that kind of shit. Not no fucking real feminine black woman. They not going to want no man sitting on their lap. They going to want to sit on a nigga lap. I see pictures of my mom. She's sitting on my dad's lap. He controlling her, not her controlling him. He's controlling her because he knows that her womb carries the fucking seed of his fucking race, and he gonna control her to make sure she don't do nothing to mess herself up, because he know the future of them and the possibility of coming back onto this planet and being together again in another lifetime is contingent on what kind of energy she put into her womb, what kind of thoughts she has in her mind, and that's gonna come out in the type of child she gonna have. You understand? That's why I got so mad. It ain't about personal shit. It's about, do I really want to fucking be with this nigga? Do I really want to have a baby with this nigga? He gonna have my motherfucking son sitting on bitches' laps and shit, taking dick in their ass. Walk around here switching and shit. And if somebody doing that, that's your fucking prerogative. I'm just saying I don't want that for my fucking son, because that's what my dad wasn't into. And I know my dad is part of the royal family. So I want my fucking dad to be able to reincarnate back into my bloodline. He ain't coming through nobody taking dick in the ass, because that's not his shit. And he shouldn't have to. Because like I said, that shit will roll your body down. What you take a dick in the ass for? And you know your body worn down. You know all these women run around here fucking a million men and shit, and their pussy wore out. Pussy falling out. They got to get history because somebody done wore their fucking cervix out and their pussy is literally falling out on the ground. They didn't spread their fucking DNA. Every time a woman has sex with a man, the fucking DNA of that man gets imprinted on her DNA. And sometimes it could be a good thing. That's why some women like to go fuck powerful men, so they can have powerful men's DNA imprinted on them. And some men don't mind that. But these motherfuckers have started a whole culture of fucking these raggedy ass whores. And these whores got all kind of different men's DNA printed on them just because these men have money. Not necessarily because these men have a royal bloodline. You see? That don't mean they have good characters and shit just because they got fucking money. They could have been taking dick in the ass and turn around and fuck this lady in her vagina to put that DNA and spirit on her ass. And y'all thinking you in some kind of club and you doing this shit and you so fucking special because these people then took ancient practices and put their little fucking curses on it. And they got you niggas doing this same shit and you think I'm gonna participate. Because my dad don't want that. He don't want no fucking reprobate, because it is a reprobate. Whether it's acceptable or not, it's a reprobate because it ain't gonna get nowhere. It ain't gonna bring no children into the fucking earth. And it ain't gonna fucking make your body better. So really, it's just you doing some shit that you know you don't need to do because it's like a drug. It's like people doing crack. They feel good and they want to do it because it feel good, but that don't necessarily mean you need to be doing it. That don't mean it's of God. Just because people want to fight for the rights to be able to do it, don't mean they need to be doing this shit. And that's where we're at. Just like people who have this money they're making. And they're taking that money and giving it to everybody but the people in their race. And they don't see nothing wrong with it because it feels good to them at the time. They don't realize the repercussions that's going to come within the next 100 or 200 years behind what they've done for their own indulgence. for their own individual indulgence. When we're coming out of tribe, and tribes do things together. Tribes have clans. Clans make sure that they intermarry with other clans because that is a covenant to make sure that they can come back onto the planet. They're the same DNA. And that's the whole story. So what's going on right now is our clans, the ancestors want to come back because they feel like this is the time for it to come back. And these men who may have the particular DNA that's needed and they were chosen, they don't want to fucking honor their bloodline because they want to go and fucking give their DNA to somebody else because they love that person or that person loves them. So they think until it's time to get a fucking divorce and that bitch won $300,000 a month. And you realize this bitch really didn't love me. She was willing to put in the work because she realized this shit is cultural, it's clan, and it's going through history. Excuse me. It's going through centuries. So what they do now could affect the centuries of their race, of their bloodline. So them fucking you now and being with you now and marrying you now is going to benefit their ancestors in centuries. So they could have an ancestor in them that say, bitch, we're going to sacrifice your ass. Like my ancestors sacrificing me to go through this hell saying what I have to say and talking to these motherfuckers who think they're more specialer than me because their ass then got famous and they're chosen and they don't want to admit and acknowledge what's going on. And they want to wait for me to be famous and rich when they know fucking men are supposed to take care of women anyways. But they want me to do something special other than just being who I am from the bloodline I am and actually loving them for them and not for their fucking money or their little fake ass fame. Because that's what's going on. Because like I said, it don't matter how much money a motherfucker had. Don't mean I really want your ass. Meaning don't mean that you're really my type. Good morning. How you doing? Yeah, this is tribal. We're tribes. We're tribes of people. And our tribes can't even get back together because you motherfuckers don't want to honor the covenants that was made amongst our people hundreds of years ago. And the only reason why you don't want to do that is because there's somebody of another fucking species of fucking alien or whatever the fuck they are telling you that because you got some money you could do what you want. So you don't want to date back into your race. You don't want to have a kid that look like you. Hi, good morning. You don't want it. And you don't realize the repercussions of that until your ass is gone. And you can't come back into the planet. You only can halfway come back. And somebody else is going to be fully coming back. And your whole fucking bloodline going to be ran by a whole nother fucking species of motherfucking alien or whatever the fuck is going on here. So I just wanted to say it like that to get further clarification. Because it's just that simple. Because like I said, it's like arranged marriage. Like a woman could be in love with a whole nother motherfucker and she knows she's in an arranged marriage and she obligated to give her eggs up to a certain motherfucker so that her ancestors will be pleased, and she does it. Because that's what that shit is. Because sometimes women don't even really be loving the men like that. But luckily, our ancestors put some kind of spell or they have some kind of love for each other that where it's still love there. Even though a motherfucker don't know each other, maybe they ain't they fucking type based on personal preference and perception, but the love is still there. So that means no matter whether it's something I have to do or not, I'm willing to do it because I still feel the love. So I have to wait for this motherfucker to wake up. I had to wait for this motherfucker to wake up and realize what the fuck going on. Do you want to be a king for the next fucking 5,000 years? Or do you want to be a fucking famous celebrity for the next fucking 10 years if they let your punk ass live that long? And that's what the fuck gonna happen. These bitches gonna have a baby by you, gonna turn up dead like the rest of these niggas. Thank God you have a daughter. That's by a sister. Gotta think that baby girl is for your mama. The baby boy is gonna be for your daddy and my daddy. Just thought I'd put it out there. I guess that's what they want me to say. If you even watch this whole fucking video, because I know you're so goddamn busy.